Now that we have gotten all of that out of the system, let us, well, as much as hopefully possible,
Now Luna's
let
gonna
us
start drinking.
go to our Wednesday dealings. On our last session, the party, after having wrapped up their rest and all assorted plans, met up at the appointed time with Lady Commander Lucina Windrenen to investigate the furnace. After a little bit of back and forth, during which you also decided on a sort of Excelsior adjacent catchphrase to collectively yell when you're heading out into combat. You briefly spoke to the guard that was stationed outside of the furnace, who was not too ecstatic to let you in, but you convinced him with the force of not actually convincing him, but actually putting him to sleep. With that out of the way, you went into the furnace, investigated for a little bit this oddly mechanically complex compared to the rest of the city place. It's not an establishment, it's really just like this big device. I guess that's sort of what this is. You're not really in a building per se. You're just in the bowels of a huge device that is functioning all around you. And since this device is big enough, it has built-in walkways for you to operate it from the inside. You went in and found it to be conspicuously empty. After just a little bit of investigation, you were suddenly attacked by a couple of beings that seemed to be alarmed by your activities in the furnace. One of them was a big construct of a very clearly foreign make, foreign to the city at least, with several appendages and arms and mechanisms to cause destruction, and seemed hell-bent on not allowing you to escape or to acquire certain things that were in the furnace. And the second figure was apparently the furnace chief, who had been turned into a vampire somehow. The latter of which was quickly dispatched in combat by the Lady Commander, and the other was eventually brought to heel after a little bit of back and forth in combat between both sides. After the conflict was resolved, you piled up several things you managed to salvage. There are some metal bits from the Furnace Guardian that can be safely salvaged, notably two of its arms, the flamethrower and the chainsaw, the materia that was sort of fueling it, as well as if you would like to investigate some of the runic contraptions in it. And of note, you managed to keep the loot that Maisel had found at the workshop, which was one sort of like rune-carved plate, as well as schematics of some sort, which have not been analyzed yet, and a curious stack of papers, sort of like neatly folded and even a little like tied together, that don't seem to belong to the same. They don't seem to be schematics. They are like smaller journal-sized sheets of paper, all of which were found just prior to the combat, but are only now being sort of like acknowledged now that combat has died down, etc. And we had stopped our session right as we had entered that sort of post-combat conversations, and people were beginning to take a look at all of these things you have found. We're going to continue with that conversation, but as a sort of overall reminder, Lucina had, as you went in, she remarked that it would be best if you spend less than an hour in here. Like it would be best for you to not reach an hour inside the furnace. Currently, it has been a bit over 15 minutes, closing in on 20 since you have gotten here. All of you, except those who are resistant to fire, would be very, very much sweating already. Like, not drenched yet, but soon to be drenched in sweat. The heat is fairly overbearing. Even Lucina seems to be quite stuffy inside of her armor. And for Noah in particular, this seems to be particularly damaging. As you feel less sweating, you're more dissolving. It's not to a critical degree, but there are still health hazards to be considered if you linger too long here. But
Lily would end up taking off her cloak, and does Sammy screaming in the background still. Does Lucina seem any bit weirded out by the lichen arms?
roll an insight check.
Ooh, I'm great at those. You know, I can always roll on that.
This one was not visually disturbed by anything. Ever.
It was disturbed by me looking up at the
She
ceiling.
definitely looked at them and took note of them. You can tell that much. Like there is a glance in your direction as you take the cloak off. But there is not an expression of like approval or disapproval. It's more just that she has noticed it, and that's it.
Fair enough.
I think Luna will sort of try to quickly hurry along Lilia and Rella, kind of getting whatever the things they wanted to get from the room and get them in the bag of holding. I think probably is the only one that isn't really bothered by the heat in that way.
And I spend a charge from my water materia to soak the Yeti fur cloak and drape it over myself to keep a little bit cooler.
It's not gonna do much, but you can.
Okay. Noah, this might help keep you cool as well. If you're willing to deal with the dampness.
I think it'll be alright for a little bit longer. But thanks for the offer. Visibly sweating.
Yes. If we get any deeper, then... Well, you said an hour. If we spend too much time here, I'd want you all to head back.
We have about 43 minutes and 52 seconds left. We should get moving.
I love when you do that.
Let's collect what evidence we can, and then we can analyze it outside.
Mm-hmm.
Uh...
I think we've got everything in this room, right?
Yeah.
My Zell will take a moment to try and pop the vampire's eyes out just for further analysis later.
Well, as you say that, Lucina was actually headed towards him.
Okay.
As you guys seem to decide on like continuing further from here, she kind of like went towards him. As you approach, she looks at you and inquires, "Do you need anything from the corpse?"
The eyes are magical and could be useful if someone were interested in them, but otherwise can be disposed of.
Denied. I will wrap the body and bring him to his family.
Understood.
And she
Mad.
and she does exactly as she said, like turns towards the body, and well, it's bisected by her own doing, so
Mhm.
you know it's already kind of ruined, but still, she
It
kind
may
of
be
gets
somewhat disturbing to the family to see a vampiric body returned to them.
She stops for a moment. Perhaps. Do you have another suggestion?
I don't know of a way to undo the curse of vampirism. Not that it would do much good, since he's also deceased now. It might be a little bit less, especially considering the state the body's in. It might be kinder to return the ashes of the deceased instead of the body.
I do not know if it was his wish to be cremated. I will have Catherine or priest Gundir repair the body to a presentable condition. But before cremating, I wish to consult with family, if that would be his wish.
Question for you. Does this body count as a creature or a non-living substance?
It counts as non-living substance now.
Okay. I wish to look at it with my alchemist's eye. So my two red eyes immediately have a immediate shifting and swirling of the eyes, almost like gears turning. Just momentarily as they readjust and I look at it differently.
Okay.
I wish to look at its chemical composition.
Well, there's like carbon and iron, I guess.
Oh, sweet. Salt. Starts just doing
Yeah.
the Edward thing from
Yeah,
Full Metal
exactly.
Alchemist.
Like that's what I was thinking about. I'm like, man, I sure wish I was Edward Elric right now.
Can we just
well,
recite FMA off the top of our heads?
Oh, do you want me to? I tried. I think I can remember. It's describing each element.
Yeah, but not right now. Well, his body composition is a little different since he is a vampire and not a human.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, whatever chemical components there are in the human body, it's slightly different for a vampire, though not to an extensive degree. The difference is also partially magical, not chemical, like physical in nature. And also his guts are kind of like rapidly spilling out of his body at this point. So you know, your eyes are telling you like, oh, there seems to be progressively less of this thing, which with each passing moment.
Something seems to have happened.
Yeah, but definitely like he had his muscles were quite bulky and enlarged, like unnaturally well built. And comparatively, his brain seems a little shrunken compared to, you know, what you would expect from an adult.
Oh.
There are also a slightly higher amount of optic nerves.
Okay. I turn briefly to look at Myzel. Is his brain smaller?
Myzel is a creature, though.
This is taking a while.
Does the
Rule
same.
up. He's not a non-living substance.
He's not a
Shit.
non-living substance yet.
We
I
can
guess.
change that. I pull my knife.
Yeah.
I think this is everything. I can't. This is what I remember. Yeah, this is probably all of it.
Is there anything before I let you go? Anything? Is that how do I word this? Like, has the shrunken brain been a common thing among the vampires we've encountered?
I would say with that stuff that I had sent you a while ago regarding the classifications. You would know that this is a possible side effect of being made into the lower rung, the lowest rung.
Right, okay. Alright, I guess I'm just really trying to collect bits and pieces of information that might tip me off when encountering a vampire in the wild, even. Like just a disguised human that would be a vampire. But I'm gonna pass on to the others. Why is Rala typing?
I guess I was
Rather
also observing that.
Meaning,
In terms of that, I would also say his heart would be a little atrophied.
atrophied.
Yeah, a little slightly atrophied.
I don't have a full picture quite yet, but well, I'm not sure if this is necessarily helpful for anybody but myself, but this X being's brain is a little smaller than what it usually would be within a living adult. Maybe that's, I guess, just the way some of these vampires develop. Some functions within the body, or what's left of it, also seem a little different. Obviously, there's magical influence within it as well, and the heart also seems to be affected by these changes. I think I'm, little by little, beginning to piece a better picture together of what a vampire is like. So if I see one in the future, I should be able to detect them early enough. Hopefully.
22 minutes.
We have 37 minutes and 57 seconds left. Let's go.
Well, all right then.
Lucina has already she hasn't fully prepped the corpse. She just kind of gather him together and set him in a spot that kind of says don't touch this.
No.
For later. She gets up and continues accompanying you. In which direction are we headed first?
To the left is where they would have designed more things, right?
To the left is where the storage compartments are.
And what is north?
Nothing is north. The map is not fully accurate. Yeah.
Okay, that doesn't exist. And then the right is an exit to essentially waste disposal / sewers, right?
Yes, precisely.
Fire exit.
Fire exit. All right.
All of the exits are fire exits.
This is true.
It's
Well,
worth
there's no-
investigating at some point if they've come and gone through the sewers, but considering the sewers might have a cooler climate, we should do what we can up here first.
Right. Okay. Let's not waste time. Then we'll start making our way west.
I think I'm gonna do a little bit of an ID situation here, and I'm henceforth gonna be moving around with the Alchemist's Eye enabled at all times.
Okay.
So if I see a non-living substance, a construct, or an ooze of importance, yeah, I should be able to see something.
Okay, you're gonna be looking at everything around you. It's not like this thing detects things
Right.
passively, right?
Yeah,
It's just that when you're actively looking at something, you immediately get what it's made out of.
Yeah.
So you begin to ascertain what all of these things are made of. They are pretty complex alloys of different metals and different substances with some coating as well. All of the tubes and the machinery, etc. made to be very fire resistant and very sturdy. You guys take the left exit, so to speak. It's really just like a series of service service railings, sort of, as you walk alongside several of these pipes, tubes going all through the furnace, and at times cylinders and other machinery that seem to be working on producing or distributing the heat. At the end of this corridor, you clearly see that there's a metal door that goes with a sign on top of it saying in the common tongue, crystal storage. But to your right, there is also a sturdy, kind of like those submarine type metal doors, the ones that you have in ships. Doesn't have a sign over it though, but it is sort of like closed shut.
Sorry, like a submarine door, you said?
Yeah, in a similar shape as one of those submarine doors, like a
Like the round ones?
a metal door. Yeah, kind of like
Gotcha.
elliptical.
Okay. Oh, okay. How long has it taken us to like walk to this point? That's been pretty short, right?
Yeah, it's a pretty short walk.
Okay.
You only spend like 1
Just
minute.
trying to see that I don't have to then backtrack 30 minutes and I just die midway. That would be embarrassing. Oh, I spilled all over the floor.
Oh no, I puddled.
I puddled.
You guys made me ink.
That's why.
Something,
So when I
me,
just share the
girl.
same brain cell this time.
You and your girl.
I puddled. So, crystals or this interesting looking door?
Let's see how much of the reserves they've been taking care of. The crystals, that is.
Is there like a gap in this door that we see?
No, it's
Like
closed
below, beneath? Okay.
As
Below
a-
or beneath? That's good. Nice. Good one.
shut. So you're headed towards the crystal storage?
Yeah.
Okay, you go towards the door is also closed. In this case, like the crystal storage door.
Another metal door?
Yes.
Does anyone have a key? Or is it like a spinny thing?
There's a spinny thing in the middle.
Well, who's really strong and tall and super powerful?
That'd be me.
Alright, let's go.
And cute. and
Let's
pretty.
go, Lilia. Let's go.
Woo, woo.
I'll go for the door.
Let's go,
It's-
Lilia. I'm melting.
It's a little heavy, but without too much strain, you do manage to turn it. It doesn't seem to be locked in some way. You do manage to turn it and then open, and the chamber sort of like is immediately this sort of like manhole, or a woman hole if you're female.
You and your girl.
God damn it!
I'm good now.
It's one of those sort of like tube things that go straight down, and the ladder, sort of like the ladders going down, is just like several metal handles sort of like affixed into the wall itself. So
Well, is it hot down there? Is it hot down there?
seems pretty hot as everywhere else.
Well, who's going down there?
I'll go. The heat
We
won't
know how
bother me.
Do we know how far down that goes?
Lucina speaks
Yes.
up. The storage area should be higher in elevation than the waste disposal site. I do not know the exact measurements, but it should not be very far.
I'm just wondering because I do need to get out of here at some point before the hour.
Yes.
Do you think it's safe for me to follow down there? In terms of time, I mean.
If we do not tarry too long, then yes.
In that case, let me do this also to help the process a little bit. And I'm going to cast Flock of Familiars.
Guess walk a flock of flame.
What's an animal that likes the heat this much?
Like some sort of lizard or scorpion?
Maybe some sort of lizard. I keep thinking of Macargo, but that's.
Are you serious? Do not put a lizard in very hot temperatures.
There's some that live in like desert areas.
I mean, okay, if they're built for that, I guess. Because I'm just thinking, like, they have no way of regulating body heat. Like, if they're not good with the heat, they're just gone.
Desert lizard.
Yeah.
They regulate that shit. They live in Florida.
Or like a scorpion. Those would also be good in whatever weather.
Scorpions would be pretty cool. You know
They're
what?
I make
Flying
cockroaches,
scorpions.
and then it just doesn't matter what the weather is.
I can't do cockroaches.
On principle or by function?
On principle, there's someone
Fair
here who doesn't
enough.
like. There's someone here who doesn't like them.
Yes, thank you.
But I will do the following then. Because I'm blanking. I keep thinking of fucking Pokemon. Get this shit out of my brain. I'm gonna summon 3
Depending on
red.
the Pokemon, I allow it.
I'm thinking of Macargo. Do you remember that fucking snail with the huge?
Lava snail?
If it's Slugma, I would let it.
Okay, Slugma it is. I summon 3 Slugma, and so all 3 of you see these snail-like creatures, but they are bright red, far bigger than usually snails are. They're probably about the size of my owls, and their bodies, where they're usually pretty compact, seem to be dripping with heat in this moment. And just for the sake of flavor, rather than drawing onto the snow and ice as I usually do, I pulled from the heat that is condensed within this place and shaped it into my snails. So there's 3 Slugma heading down there as well alongside us.
Yeah, Lucina is also already headed down because as soon as you started casting, she was like, "Okay, fuck it, I'm just going down."
Yeah, Aluna was
How
also
much room is there in this thing?
1 person per like. There's not enough
hold up the
room for
rear.
2 people to descend at the same time.
Okay. I was thinking about having my Zell just like dive it and then flap his wings to save, but like, no.
Not while others are going. No,
Yeah.
this is like a service thing. It's very narrow.
Does she go first?
Well, if nobody, if nobody's isn't any rush, because as soon as Noah started like,
Oh, it
firing
doesn't.
with etc., she was already kind of like going.
Yeah,
I think
it doesn't
my Zell
matter.
probably like would have been like the first to just go ahead and just jump down there and then survey as soon as he got to the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go like either same time as her, or like right after her. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, you fly down. It costs you guys like maybe like 1.5 minutes to descend. You descend in this like orderly fashion, and as soon as you get down there, you're in a tiny, sort of like a equipment area with there are some carts to your right, sort of like if you've seen like in mines where they have equipment areas with like the workers like helmets and pickaxes, etc. In this case, it's not mining equipment, etc. Exactly, it's like more like transporting equipment, things to equipment used to carry boxes and stuff like that. And to the side, like towards the direction where on the surface would be the place you guys came from, so the actual furnace, there is a much wider room. And you can see this underground, still, like, the walls are still, like, made of interwoven tubes, etc., but it's not as active here. It's just as hot, but not as active in terms of noise, etc. And it's full of these metal crates. Boxes of several containers of several different sizes. And that in the very middle, there is a wider cylinder area, not too unlike the sort of like central machine back on the surface. That is a few like exhaust fumes on it are emitting this very faint red glow.
I look at the machine with my alchemist's eyes.
Same deal as the others. Like the machine itself is built of quite of a wide variety of different elements and very precise. Well, of course they're very precise. Like, you know, it's quantities. They're always precise. Anyway, a wide variety of elements in different in different proportions. Quite elaborate work, but nothing like really unusual about that. It's like it's a machine.
Is there an elevator somewhere that like hauls these carts up and down?
There seems to be a great structure in the center with which could potentially be fulfilling that purpose.
Mm-hmm. Does it look like the supplies are significantly diminished?
Do you want to? The crates are sort of. They're not just all thrown open or something like that. You would have to actually take a look at them.
I would just cast Detect Magic so that I could then, like, if all of the crates are emanating fire, the ether, then it would be a safe assumption that they are all full of fire crystals.
Let me see what blocks Detect Magic.
It's one thin sheet of lead, 1 inch of solid metal, or like a foot of wood. Or no, it's 3 feet of wood, a foot of stone, an inch of metal, or a thin sheet of lead.
Okay, I was gonna say maybe a foot. No shot. 3 feet. 3 feet's absurd.
How much is an inch?
2.54 centimeters.
Was it 3 inches?
Or
Or 1 inch?
No, 1 inch of metal.
Okay, in that case, you wouldn't be able to detect through the boxes. I like the thought, though. It definitely would have worked. But these are specifically metal boxes. And I don't think they would be...
But they'd really be 2.5 centimeters thick. No one would be able to lift them.
2.5 centimeters thick.
Like at most, metal a standard metal box would be maybe like 0.5 centimeter thick. Otherwise, it would be far too heavy for any person to lift.
Chat, is this accurate? I'm not an engineer.
Neither.
Pure metal?
That
Like
seems
pure,
skinny.
like pure metal?
Yeah, I mean, like
It depends on the purposes of what you're making the metal.
What are you
box for.
shipping?
What if it's just to be like like what is being housed in, it's going to depend on the metal thickness, really.
Think about this: like a sheet of steel that's about 0.5 centimeter thick and roughly like 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters is gonna weigh somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2 kilograms on its own, like 2 to 3 kilograms. And so you make an entire box out of that. The box by itself is gonna weigh like 10 kilograms, not to mention what's inside it. You make it even thicker and no one will be able to lift it.
Challenge accepted.
True. Lily is stronger than most.
Okay, I guess since this is not like necessarily made by, because if this was dwarven handiwork, it would definitely be very thick. But this is not necessarily dwarven handiwork because it's not these boxes are not like from the furnace itself. They're not part of the furnace. They're just transport boxes from whomever shipped the crystals. So they aren't necessarily that thick. In which
It's
case,
also-
not everything would be caught in the area of your detect magic, but you can sort of like fly around, and indeed you can sense fire aspect of the nether coming from the inside of some of the boxes here, but not all of them. Like a significant portion of them do not have any ethereal signatures that you can pick up.
Okay. Myzel would call out to Lucina and say, "These boxes all feel like they contain fire crystals, but these ones don't seem to have any magical substance to them. What else was stored down here?"
She narrows her eyebrow a bit. I'm not an engineer at this place, but they are supposed to all house fire crystals. That is also according to the invoices of the border patrol. All of these boxes should contain fire ether crystals, as far as I have been informed.
Did you say some were empty?
Some of them don't have any magical signatures in them. I did not say they were empty.
Okay, Lilia, check those ones
Yes,
that don't
yeah.
have the signature.
On it.
How are these boxes sealed shut?
They're not sealed too tightly. They seem to have a lid, but they're not locked.
Okay.
So
Can we just open?
Lucina was already, like, as soon as you said that, she was already directing herself. She didn't like bark an order at you, but she basically like quickly told you to tell her which was the nearest box without an ore, and Lilia also like directed herself to one. You can go to like different ones if you wish. Well, do you want to go to a different one than her? Just for reference.
I'll
Myzel's
go
ready
to.
for the time. Yeah.
I figured I was opening whatever Myzel was looking for.
Yeah, sure. In your case, you like arrive at the box, and the lid is also made of metal, but you pretty easily like lift it up and put it to another other side. Lucina kind of like seems like she flexes her knees a little bit and then lift it. She does manage to lift it, but it's not as easy as Lilia did, for sure.
Yeah, she's also like a foot shorter than her.
I mean, height isn't everything, but yeah.
I mean, it's a lot in terms of strength,
though. But both of you see more or less the same thing. There is ore inside of this crates.
Aura.
Or, well, dear, does this look familiar to you? Or can you garner what type of ore this is?
Gleefully run up to the crate and investigate it? Question mark.
Non-lethally walk up? Is that what you said?
No, gleefully.
I
Oh,
mean,
I thought.
I non-lethally go up to the
evilly.
crate,
I.
I
That's
evilly
what I
approach.
which implies she could have lethally gone to the crate.
I
With
love
a
it.
fire spell.
Legit what I heard. I
mean-
non-lethally walk to the crate.
Don't set off the fire crystals, or it might be lethal.
It's true. I'll help.
such negative ideas for Rala. What is your problem, man?
Rala, give me an intelligence check using your proficiency with Smith's tools.
Sir.
I did mention I was helping.
Dude,
That's so good.
I like these 1 rolls almost more than the 21.
I did mention I was helping, if that means anything.
Do you have proficiency with pistols?
No, I have Arcana and Alchemist. That's the most I get.
And are you walking lethally or no?
Well,
Aluna, whenever Aluna walks, it always looks lethal.
Yes, queen. Brrr.
Thank
She
you.
ate that.
Always.
think I can use my sorcerer feature also to give her a little bit of a boost and roll at advantage.
Well, you can use your sorcerer feature for the help action. You would need specifically Miss Tool's proficiency with that.
Okay.
Oh,
I
I keep
will
forgetting
use
about
my
it too. What a friggin'
Sorcerer feature.
Flash of Genius.
Oh yeah, that too. Although that's a flat add, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's still
Oh.
5.
True. Yeah. But I'm also
15. I mean, 50 might be what
using
we're looking for here.
my magical abilities to give you a boost.
Do you have
So you can
proficiency in
reroll.
Smith still?
Just silvery barb somebody else.
It's like reverse silvery barbs.
Yeah, silvery barb's Lilia trying to open the crate. Doesn't matter, still opens it.
Golden brooch?
Sorry, what are you doing exactly?
Mizell is going to use his sorcerer feature to let Rala reroll by spending a sorcery point.
Unless the 15 is good.
Uh, 15?
I
Oh,
got
from the Flash of Genius. I'm really like I'm on 5 layers of trying to figure out in my head like how all this. You can reroll first, and then you decide if you use the Flash of Genius, I guess.
Let's
Huge.
go.
20.
Now use Flash of Genius on the lower roll.
Yeah, on the one for sure.
I'll look at it. Flash of Genius. Look at a notebook of stuff she's written. Then get the concrete answer. Or at least what she thinks.
Clever girl.
Okay. With the 20, you inspect these ores rapidly. Thanks to Mizell using detect magic rather than taking a look at the crates one by one, you did save some time doing this, but you are going to be quick approaching the 30-minute mark here. You recall other battles that you have seen in your life, other ore constructions. These ores, I'm not going to give a detailed description of them because I'm not a geologist, unlike certain other people that we know.
I think she's
But
napping right now, so I can't grab her.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's like fantasy metal, right? Like I just don't have like a good frame of reference. But they are all metals that are quite rare and not usually found out here. You had seen some of them, bits and pieces back at the heap, in 1 or 2 pieces that eventually made its way there. But you don't normally see them around Greathelm much. The buildings in the city, the metalwork that is used for most of the city does not include that, except for the plates and sort of like metal components with runic etchings that you have recently inspected. Those did indeed use the metals that these ores are used for.
Right. Oh, no, that they see spot is from the garden.
So
The
they're
guy she said?
importing metals from the garden.
Okay.
What in the world could they be doing it for? Let's
Well-
take a couple samples. But we should probably keep moving.
I mean, it's probably a lot of metal in there. It's like you said, a barrel or a box.
It's a box full of like these raw metal ores. But myself did say like to take a couple samples, so you can take like 2 rocks.
So would I do like a Arcana or a history check to have any idea what they're talking about with the garden and all this stuff?
History.
History. Okay.
You're good in those.
Sometimes I forget she's such like a village girl.
The fuck's this talk about a garden?
Y'all mean with a garden? I thought they had plants there.
You seem to recall that one of the cities of the region was named something garden. That's as much as you can recall.
I guess we're talking about the city. Okay.
Lucina also joins back up with you and says, "In my crate there was an invoice. The shipment apparently came with together with the fire spectre ether crystals that we usually order from Warm Rest, from Alberic miners."
They have miners working here?
No, at Warm Rest.
That's still messed up.
Miners with an E.
Oh.
I hope.
Luna looks at looks at her like right? Right.
Yes, miners with an E.
Okay.
All right, DM, I have another dumb idea I want to try.
Sure.
Can I use a combination of absorb elements and purify blood to cool my blood and relieve some of the heat? I'd be basically absorbing the heat out of it.
Okay. That there are two elements to the harm that the heat is currently in the process of doing to your body, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of them is actually like progressively rising your body temperature to a degree that becomes actually harmful to you, as the increasing temperature sort of outpaces your ability to cool yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The other is the exhaustion that comes from being in intense heat like this and your body continuing to expend energy and trying to cool yourself off. Like, you guys are getting progressively tired from being here.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that doing this could function to actually alleviate the first issue. Like, it might reset your body a little bit, and so it would take a little bit longer for you to actually take any actual metabolic damage from it. But it won't do much to recover the energy you have expended already and will expend in the future by being here. So it's going to sort of like half help the situation.
In theory, having my dampened cloak would help with the second because my body's not having to work as hard, right?
That is also true, though to a minor extent. It might
Okay.
buy you like 10 more minutes in here, maybe.
Also, as an aside, can I sense if Noah has blood? Just from now being a blood mage?
Noah has the equivalent of blood, yes.
Okay. Alright, yeah, Myzel will, I guess, spend a first level spell slot to try that kind of combination. And if it works to a reasonable extent, as we're getting nearer to the time limit, he'll say something to the rest of the party.
How much time do we have right now?
You would have about half an hour left.
Okay.
Is Rella not sweating?
Not nearly as much as those guys are, or I guess everyone.
I have pretty high passive perception. Did I notice that? A 21?
It's probably
I
like
guess it's
because
pretty
people
apparent.
are people are sweating dramatically in here. Like
Yeah.
the clothes are getting positively drenched, like dripping on the floor, etc. So it's fairly noticeable if you pay some attention if someone is not really doing that.
Like,
Yeah.
jokes aside, sweating aside, am I like dissolving? And I mean
Slight-
this so for real.
Like what I'm gonna say is like how I just described to Myzel, like functionally, if you spend a whole hour in here, you're going to both take damage and suffer exhaustion. This is going to be doubly true for you.
Okay.
Incrementally, if you would prefer me to do it that way, I could just hand you the standard damage and exhaustion right now, and in another half hour I could do the other half. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to just stack you, like hit you with a level of exhaustion like right away.
I'll let you decide and do it however you prefer. I just wanted to know if I was dissolving, but if I'm not
Ooh.
actually really dissolving, then I guess it's fine for now.
Yeah, you're not like in necessarily mortal danger, but you're definitely suffering from this more than the others. But I will leave it to the end of it, like everyone else. If you get out of here in time, it's fine. But I will say that you guys will need some time, like of hydration and ventilation
Uh-huh.
after getting out.
Rala
I
gave
think
us something? What is this?
Noticing you guys were like not doing so well, she would have done something similar to what she did in combat with the lightning runes, but this time it would be a cold rune.
Okay.
So, why don't I know you can like put it.
What does
on you.
that do functionally?
I mean, it would add a D4 of cold damage, but I don't know. You rub it on your face, might be cold. I don't know.
Myzel
I
would
like
also
the idea of like dealing cold damage to yourself to offset the heat.
I had
Right.
considered it. Myzel would go up to Noah and say, I found a trick that seemed to cool me off a little bit. Can I try it on you as well?
What's the trick first?
I was
Perkins.
able to absorb some of the heat out of my internal body and expel it.
What do you mean your internal body?
I will say
Well,
that in order to do that to someone else, it might be a little tricky.
Well, because Purify
You-
Blood is a touch spell.
Yeah, and absorb elements is self, right?
True. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little tricky for you to pull the same stunt on someone else.
Yeah.
I will say it's also not very reliable for you to even do it on yourself, since it's unorthodox. But still, for this time, I'm letting it go.
You'll try it just to kind of help Noah make it along. Well, in my case, I removed it from my blood, and it felt a little weird because suddenly my blood was cooler than the rest of me. But for you, it would be what your body uses instead of blood.
I don't think I want that for now. I'm not really sure what's inside. I somehow don't think it's blood, but I don't think now's the moment to find out.
I don't think it's the same, but the concept would still apply. It just looks like you're doing a little bit worse than the rest of us in this heat.
It is pretty hot after all.
Piglet kind of checks Rala, sort of like flips her hair up a little bit, looks around like around like sort of exposed skin, anything she has, just sort of curiously.
Is the child sweating?
Well, Aluna knows why she's not sweating. She's interested in trying to figure out why Rala's not sweating, because it's potentially a similar reason, and that's new and interesting to her.
Rala is sweating, but not like near, like she's not drenched. Got a,
Mm.
just a few beads of sweat here and there.
You don't have any tattoos on you, do you?
No?
She's a kid.
I mean, like mine.
I've seen kids with tattoos.
Where?
Back home.
You usually just have to have your parents' consent, right?
Aluna gives you the most dry fucking stare of like, are you fucking kidding me?
I don't think he had parents, so
You can see Myzel like slightly smirking, like I'm joking.
Is that a funny joke to tell an orphan?
I know. That was fucked up.
You think that's funny? It's just... You met
Or
orphan?
guardian.
Huh.
Anyway,
Does there appear to be anything else of interest? Did Lilia's crate also have ore in it?
yes. All of the crates that you open that were not did not have fire crystals have these ores.
Do any of the crates seem more powerfully fire ether than the others? Like they might contain materia instead of fire crystals?
Would you like to spend some more time here to inspect that?
Using his using his like passive detect magic while we've been in here, he'd be kind of scanning, like while the others are checking out the ore. That's kind of what he would be looking at.
Well, not that you can glance, just like glean just from this sort of paying attention.
Okay. In that case, I don't think we can afford the time at the moment. But he would say,
I mean, I can. If you really want me to stay, I can keep searching.
Did we check out the other door for now?
Was there another door down here?
No, up there.
Upstairs.
Oh.
The one that I've seen a door like that on one of those machines that fly up to the moon.
Fly me to the moon. Let me play among stars.
We should try and cripple their operation down here if we can. Maybe if there's any more materia, we could make off with that. Luna, while we take a look at the other door, do you think you can stand the heat long enough to check for materia instead of fire crystals?
She'll cast detect magic.
I've got it.
I'll leave one of my slugma with you.
Slug my dick.
I'm regretting the decision specifically because it was a slugma. And like I do not like the word slugma being said in high frequency in this game.
Broke up saying slug when I was like, I gotta say it. I'm good now. Though. The feeling is
I haven't
past.
said it once. I'm pretty good today.
Yeah. Now that I've done it, don't need to say it again. Good.
What the slugma?
What the slug? I'm leaving one downstairs, but I'll have the other two squelch their way upstairs back with us.
Okay, are you
Not the
guys
squelching.
are you guys leaving like sort of like splitting yourselves between like Luna and the slugma staying in
Yeah.
this room to investigate and the others going to the other room?
Yes.
Party's being split.
Okay.
Not that they're like what, 10 feet above, 20 feet above.
About that, but it takes a little bit to climb. Not
If there's an
it's not
emergency,
10,
I can
it's
fly.
not 10, 15 feet. It's a little bit more.
It's okay. If there's an emergency, I can fly. So I'll be down here searching for more important things.
Or slugma.
Okay. And the rest of you are climbing back up the stairs again.
Are they stairs? I thought it was a ladder.
Yeah, it's because it's the same word in Portuguese, so I often forget that in English it's different words.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Finding out
understand.
more and more how inaccurate Portuguese is. German best language.
You guys have weird ass words. Don't start.
Yeah, I'm sure
But
it
they're
has
all
worked very.
incredibly fucking
Yeah,
accurate.
I'm sure it has
It's
worked
so
very
good.
well in the past to say German things are better than other things.
Just blinking lights in.
Anyway.
Humans are no longer allowed to have those opinions.
Yeah.
Banned from having future opinions like that.
You guys climb back up the stairs. The ladder. And eventually arrive back at the front of this other door. What are you gonna do?
Open the door.
Who's really strong and powerful and all?
Yeah.
Lilia, that's your cue. She's. Did we forget her downstairs?
Oh, she's AFK, I think. Hasn't
Yeah, I don't.
put on Discord that she was stepping away. But for brevity's sake, Lilia does the same sort of thing of like grabbing it, and it doesn't seem to be opening quite as easy as the other one. Seems to be locked, if you will.
You know how to open these kind of doors? If they don't open on their own? Do you
I
need
can.
do you need a key?
They may have
Actually,
been
is
locked
Lucina
from
with
the
it? Did
inside.
Lucina come up with us?
Yeah, she did.
Okay.
They may have been locked from the inside.
Do you have a key, or should I try to pick the lock?
I do not possess one.
Okay.
I'm not sure how the mechanism for this works, but if there is a way to unlock it from this side, perhaps.
Does it look like there's a keyhole where I can try and pick it?
Not sure there would be a keyhole. This is one of those things where there is some sort of like barring mechanism from the other side, and someone just turned it, and there's sort of like this, probably some metal beam, like wedging the door.
Gotcha. Is there another way to this door from the other side?
Not that I am aware of. But as you inspect the door, though, give me a perception check.
Okay.
I'm looking at it intently, by the way.
It's made of normal metal.
It's a
Nothing
metal
to-
door.
Nothing too fancy about it. It's also not like... It's a metal door, but it's not super sturdy.
I'm gonna burn 2 charges for my eyes to bump that up to a 20.
I wouldn't say you can use your eyes for this.
No? Okay.
While you're inspecting the door, you hear some
Oh.
some noise from behind it. Seems like
Oh.
a pair of voices.
Ooh, can I hear what they're saying?
It's very muffled. Like it's through a metal door. I would say you can just hear voices, but not exactly what they're saying.
If I place both of my slugma on the door, will they start melting away at it?
I'm gonna say no, because I allowed you to summon Pokemon out of flavor. I wouldn't want them to actually have like flaming powers.
Okay, fair.
Hang on. I have magic for this.
I don't like it, but I respect
mhm.
it.
I mean, you can workshop your spell to like maybe expand the
Oh
amount
my god,
But
honestly.
I already think this spell is pretty fucking strong as is. So like I'm gonna need a little bit of downtime work on this to make it stronger.
I just use it for fun. I don't think I use it for anything like.
Miss
Right.
You're gonna use it to open a door in a few seconds.
I mean, in the Wolfwood, you use it to scout like some pretty fucking large areas with pretty minimal effort.
We also use
Yeah,
it
it's
to
familiars.
we also use it to bring a giant wolf to a hilltop so we could fight it without having to jump up and hit its face.
I also could have just sent 1 familiar for that, but it's good to have 3. Like, it's fun. I don't have an icon for this one in particular. I'm sad about
Okay,
that.
Mr. DM.
Anyway.
I am gonna cast Clairvoyance and summon a sensor on the other side of the door so that I can hear what they're saying.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a here only sensor, right?
I can use a bonus action to flip between them.
Okay. Are you doing hearing first or
I'm
seeing
starting
first?
with hearing, yes.
Okay.
Ooh.
As you conjure the sensor, you hear not a pair, but actually a few voices saying some things such as like, "What do you think that was?" Oh, I wonder if they're finally letting us out of here. Or is it like emergency maintenance over? Well, it has been a while by now, so perhaps it would be good though. Our snacks are gonna be over eventually.
Did they say our snacks?
Yeah.
Okay.
get snacks.
Well, yeah.
Snack break.
Well, if we run out of food, we can always just unlock and go get more. Well, but it might be dangerous out there, you know. I mean, I don't know why, but it might be. Just seem to be
Mostly idle chatter.
yes, and also wondering what the noise was
Signal.
behind the door. Kind of like, what the fuck was that?
I'm gonna
Just
try to
switch
open.
over to vision.
Okay, you see a room. There are a couple of like bunk beds in this room, and just like I had described, like with the miner's equipment, this room also has that sort of thing. But they do seem to be for personal equipment this time, like helmets and paraphernalia, wrenches, and all that kind of thing. And you see a small group of about 10 people inside this room. It's not they're not like all huddled together, but it's a little cramped. And all of these people are also wearing these heavy metal suits. They don't seem to be like battle armor, but they are armor after a fashion. Kind of like those, like the Warhammer 40k, like Space Marines thing. Like in terms of how bulky the suit is, it's kind of like that.
Is this like Link's fireproof armor?
Links? Oh, Legend of Zelda Link.
Yeah.
I don't know. Go figure that out. They're all wearing that, but without like they don't have helmets on. They're just like helmets off, and normal people of different genders, races, and sizes. All adults, obviously, but still, just sort of like chatting. They don't seem to be sweating by any measure, notably.
Okay. None of them seem to be vampires, though.
No apparent vampiric traits.
Okay. Myzel will tell Lucina about 10 humans. They seem to be like they're the normal workers of this place, and they've locked themselves in due to he makes finger quotes, emergency maintenance. They don't seem to really know what's going on. They just, I guess, have been ordered to stay inside. Possibly by the chief before he became a vampire. It's hard to know for sure. We could try and tell them to open up and ask them some questions, though who knows if they would comply. But otherwise, they seem to be safe in there for the moment.
Well, we will have to find a way to get them out eventually. Can you open the door? Or get them to open it?
Well, my method of knowing what's going on in there is only seeing, or is receive only, but we can try yelling at them through the door and ask them to open it. With now that I'm looking through, do I see any ways that we might be able to like slip something through to open the door?
You tried knocking.
No.
Groundbreaking.
It seems like the door doesn't have like too many openings. Like
Mm-hmm.
it shuts itself pretty solidly.
Okay. So he'll just say, I can order them to open it on your authority.
You have permission to do so.
Okay, Mizell will switch the sensor back to hearing to know what's going on as he does this. And he will knock firmly on the door and say, "By order of the Lady Commander Lucina, open the door. It's safe outside now, and we need to speak with you."
Ding ding.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay.
Okay, pretty good. You do hear that as soon as you say that, they kind of they go silent for a second when you start speaking, and then they kind of look at each other like, "Did you hear that? Lady Commander Lucina? Lucina? That was her first name? Oh, go figure."
Oh.
Um,
He doesn't.
that-
Does she go by Commander Windrenin?
She does go by Lady Commander Winter then, yes.
He would have said that, then he would have known, like, that's what she goes by.
Yeah, okay. I was like,
That's just
damn,
my
that's
mistake in
We
Blighter.
don't, we
'cause, like,
don't call her
always
Lady
refer to as-
Commander
Yeah.
Windrunner.
oddly intimate of you.
No, he would have said Lady Commander Windrenin. I just
It's fine, it's fine.
brain fart.
They kind of go like, "Oh, Lady Commander? Do you know that voice? No, I don't recognize it. Do you think it's she's here? But why would she be here? Well, I guess if it's a security issue. Like these are all like different people. They seem to be having a little bit of a what do you call? Not a debate, but like a
Conniption?
council.
Oh, no,
Like a round circle sort of moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Round table.
But it does seem to be sort of leaning favorably in your direction. They're sort of like, well, it has been a while, and I mean, if
The
haven't gotten
stormtrooper
any-
energy, man.
He'll just, like, knock again and say, "The coast is clear. Open the door."
they again like continue like, what do you think? Well, I mean, it should be fine, right? Like, what's the worst that could happen? And one guy sort of like speaks up from, you know, and it's hearable through the door because he essentially shouts, "Open it up! Just 1 second."
I'll switch back to Vision
Yep,
to make
this
sure they're not, like, preparing something sussy.
This like larger, more burly Jotun fellow, like kind of like 210 centimeters tall, like bulky guy, just goes up to the door and he undoes this sort of like latch that was affixing the door in place. You guys can hear that, and then begins spinning the wheel at the center of it on their end, and eventually the door just sort of like there's this not like a decompression, but this like as it opens towards your side, and all of you see again this group of people in bulky, seemingly pretty like advanced crafted metal suits, all looking at you sort of curiously, and one of them seems to look at Lucina, who's kind of like at the nearing the front of the party, and turns to the guy on his side like, told you she would be here in the flesh. And the guy who opened the door goes like, good afternoon. Is it safe to go out yet?
The threat. Well, he won't say threat. The situation is under control. Were you all ordered here to? Who ordered you to stay here?
Oh, the furnace chief told us to just stay here, be good and quiet until he came and told us it was fine to leave.
How long ago was that?
Oh, maybe an hour ago.
Those suits, I presume they protect you from the heat?
Another guy speaks up. Oh, yes, rather.
Give them to me.
I'm sorry, we don't have any spares. We only have one for each of us, and they are. How should I put this? Lucina kind of like immediately interrupts him and starts explaining in a very direct tone of voice, very objective. Like, these are special suits designed to ward off heat. They run on frost crystals. I suspected either. We only have one suit for each worker of the furnace. Although they are not here at all times altogether, so we only have one for each in case of an all hands on deck scenario.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have spares, and I believe these people would not be able to endure the heat for long without them.
At this point, what was the workshop? It was called the workshop, right?
It's a
That was
workshop.
where we found all the weird materials.
Yeah, it's kind of a workshop, but it didn't have like an official name. But
Okay.
the name workshop fits.
Okay, Mizell at this point will subtle spell detect thoughts and kind of touch on their surface thoughts as he asks, "Did any of you work on it? Do work in the workshop?"
Oh, they all kind of like, oh yeah, been taking turns doing that, and they're all thinking like, oh, yeah, like I did that thing like yesterday. Oh yeah, like this morning I forged some pieces.
And where did
Yep.
the plans for what you worked on come from?
Oh, some of the surface emotions that you're feeling from them seem to not spiral, but waver towards like confusion. They go like, oh, I don't know, someone just dropped them here, I guess. One day, yeah.
Do I get the sense that they're trying to hide who it was, or they just don't know who it was?
Roll an insight check. They seem like they're genuinely confused, kind of like they can't remember.
Mm-hmm. And have you noticed anything off about the furnace chief lately?
The furnace chief? Not at all. I mean, you know, just same old, same old. No signs of anything strange with him. Is he out there? Is he with you guys?
Mizell will hold off on answering that question for the moment. But before I cast detect thoughts, did I sense the same like aura of magic on these guys that was like doing the rest of the town, making them not think of vampires at all?
Yep.
Okay. So when the guy asks if the furnace chief is out there, Mizell will kind of glance at Lucina, saying like, "How do you want to handle this one?"
How do you want to do this?
True.
The furnace chief is relieved of his duties starting today due to extenuating circumstances that will be divulged to you shortly. All of them sort of start going like, what? But what the fuck? We are conducting an investigation of this facility. I would like you all to convene and think of which of you would be a good successor to him. In the meanwhile, we will continue our investigation of these installations, and I will get an expert opinion on the subject as well. And they all seem to kind of like go like, but why? Like why? That's so sudden.
He was so young.
She simply just doesn't answer them. Simply goes like,
As the Lady Commander said, there are some extenuating circumstances, but that shouldn't bar you from continuing with your duties. The furnace must be maintained.
She turns towards you. If they elect a successor furnace chief, we will need to dispel the enchantment on them.
Maizel will kind of nod and say, "It won't be easy, but we should be able to do it."
Turns back towards them. For the time being, you are to stay here. Do you have food and sustenance? And they sort of like, well, we got snacks for a couple more hours. Our ice crystals should last a few more hours too, so that's fine. She...
Yep.
Do you have more frost crystals anywhere?
Yes, we have a bit of a storage here in this same room. Although they're not meant to be used by all of us at the same time, but it's for the time being they will suffice. And she goes, "We will not take very long. We'll be out of here soon enough, and then I'll be back with the expert. As soon as we settle the matter of the administration, in a temporary manner, most of you will be dismissed, and only those who are still supposed to be on duty will remain." They all mostly just comply. Still seem pretty confused about it, but they're like, okay, guys. Wonder what, like, did he fuck up? Was this like a false alarm?
Not to be more like New Yorkers.
True.
Mind your fucking business.
Anyway, Lucina kind of turns towards all of you and goes like, "Well, we have ascertained that the citizens are safe.
Indeed.
I don't think there is much more here for the time being. Our time is
Okay.
short."
Are there any other areas in the furnace that we need to investigate before we go below?
The only place we have not been is the region near the waste disposal site.
And that's what leads to the sewers, right?
Well, it leads to the waste disposal. It doesn't directly lead to the sewers.
Oh, I thought like from this map you said that the area that goes to the right goes to the waste disposal and the sewers.
Yeah, what she's saying is that it doesn't go directly to the sewers. It goes to like this big place where they burn all of the waste, and from then presumably you could find like a like you could follow one of the pipes like backwards and head to the sewers.
Ah, okay. Well, let's collect a Luna and check that out before we run out of time here.
Yes. You have about a little bit less than 20 minutes by now.
Okay.
More like 15 minutes left.
13 minutes, 37 seconds.
Luna, did you find anything down there? Maizel just called down the stairs.
Roll an investigation check.
Did I find anything?
This is with detect magic as well.
You don't find any materia. You find a couple of sorted crystals, etc. Like some of higher quality, unusually higher quality than the others. As well as just like Lucina had found previously, like some invoices stating where they have come from, the shipments, the quantities, and the sender and the address of the sender. But no materia.
Where are these coming from? Is there like a sort of like a overlap between like or is it just kind of like all different places?
They are all coming from the same supplier. This apparently like a mining company in Warm Rest.
Okay. I will bring my findings.
Yeah, this reminds me of like there's a Minecraft mod that has like elemental crystals all over the place. And these guys are just like mining out all of the fire crystals on the freaking planet to run their furnace.
This is just a very elaborate ad for the upcoming Minecraft movie.
Well, to be fair, as far as people are aware, crystals are a relatively renewable source. Like if you mine some from a certain place and you just leave that place alone for a little bit, it's just gonna spring crystals. Like crystals are gonna spring back.
Lash him go crazy.
Anyway, Iluna rejoins the group and shares these findings. What are you doing?
Let's make haste towards the waste disposal. We might have 5 minutes there before we have to get out of the furnace as a whole.
Let's go.
Unless we can find a cooler spot to take refuge from there. We're
Okay.
booking it towards the furnace.
In a bit of a hurry, you pass through the central area once more, and then into the other corridor. This corridor is a little bit narrower and longer as well. Doesn't have like a door going to the side like the other one. It just heads towards one door, very similar to the one that leads to the storage, except this one simply states in a plaque above it, waste disposal. It's similarly open, already predicting that Lilia will approach it with her hands of great muscular power.
He's gonna cast hands.
Yeah. So, same effect. There is a ladder built into the hole itself that goes straight down.
Go down quickly.
Very well. You all once again descend this ladder. It's quite longer than the other one. Like it goes down at least twice, probably more like 3 times as deep. Maybe even more.
Probably gets cooler then.
Yeah, not exactly. It at the tunnel at a certain point it gets a little bit cooler, but as you begin to near the end, it gets hot again.
Yay. I think I like the idea that we were climbing down. So I was like, that's nice. And then like your feet start to get warm, and I was like, there it is, back again.
Once you are down there, though, you immediately see this. It's kind of like a grate, one of those walkways, you know, like metal walkways that go above certain things. You are also assaulted by this very pungent smell of all different kinds of things that people toss in a sewer situation. But as you walk on this kind of like grated walkway, you see down below like this massive hole, apparently made of built of concrete, with many holes around its perimeter, supposedly from all of the sewerways around the city. This is where they all converge, and you actually watch in real time like some stuff getting there, like liquids, other things just dropping down into the bottom of this pit, which is this immense fire. Like it's just a huge flame burning at the bottom of it. The gases that are emerging from it, like visible, like not super black, but very thick smoke with a foul smell. Although once you take a look at the ceiling at the center of it, there seems to be a separate machine, like a pretty bulky metal apparatus at the very top of it that seems to be it's not a fan by any means, but it seems to be drawing in some of the gas to itself. So the gas isn't just escaping everywhere or something like that. But there is like a gigantic flame at the bottom of this place. So to your question of whether it was going to get cooler down here, quite the opposite.
Well, at least it's one of the cooler sewers I've been in.
In
Cooler
terms
as
of
in
temperature or in...
most don't have like a nice furnace doing a extra bonfire down below, so a plus. Usually it's wetter.
It was not our idea. When the Jotun installed the facilities, they also offered to do this as a side function, and it is much more efficient than the previous ways of disposing waste from what I've read on the history books.
I'll have to agree with you there.
With my magical eyes, do I see anything that seems out of place down here?
Well, not exactly. You know that clearly like the fire going down there is magical in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And the machine that seems to be drawing in most of the residual fumes at the top also seems to be fueled by magic of some kind. But other than that, nothing seems to be out of order here.
You see anything that seems unusual, Lady Commander?
She's kind of like scanning the area, isn't it? Even as you talk to her. Taking a cursory glance. I have never been here, so I don't have a frame of reference. However, from what I can tell, it seems to be working as the blueprints indicate.
Do I see any exits that would lead, like, as we suspected, like down into the sewers themselves?
Yeah,
Like somebody could use them to come and go.
As I described, like this pit, like circular pit, has several holes into its walls. You can see from the stuff that is falling out of these holes that if you follow them up, at the risk of getting hit by whatever is coming down, you would probably eventually reach certain places in the city, like maybe houses, etc. Not very easy to do that without like an actual detailed map of the sewers, but possible.
So the sewers themselves are dumping into the disposal furnace?
Yes.
Okay.
The sewers seem to lead directly here, which incidentally is why the this thing is located so deep underground, because you know gravity has to do its thing.
Can I fly to each of the pipes that lead in and check if I can tell if there are any signs that people have been traversing through them, like a footstep or a handprint where it shouldn't be?
There are several of them. You can make an investigation check, but checking each and every one of them is going to take some time.
Okay. I'll just do a cursory glance of like some of the lower, safer ones that seem like they might be more likely. Like I can obviously rule out ones that are too small for a person to pass through.
Okay.
Are you flying doing this, or just
Yes.
walking around? Okay, I cannot help you if you're flying.
Yeah, you can't just reach all the holes by walking.
This time
would
I
fall
can
into
add
flames.
some charges from my eyes, so I will bump that up to 20.
Okay. You make a quick assessment of maybe which ones would be a little bit safer for someone to walk in and out of. Approach them and try to look for handprints or signs of someone having traversed them, but you find nothing.
Okay. He'll return back and say, a more detailed assessment might be necessary, but first glance doesn't seem to indicate anyone coming and going through the tunnels. But I wouldn't rule it out just yet. If we're dealing with vampires, they would likely do everything they can to stay below the ground and out of the sunlight. But for now, for our own safety, I think we need to return above.
Yes, that would be wise. You have less than 10 minutes left at this point.
Does it seem like there's a... I think that's probably the most we're gonna get out of this right now. Never mind.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you climb back?
Yep.
All right.
And as
you
we're
climb.
climbing, Myzel will say to Lucina, once they've identified a successor, let us know, and maybe tonight we can attempt to remove the enchantment from them.
As you are heading up the stair, up the ladders, and then back to the furnace, she simply replies, "You need to conserve your powers for the graveyard tonight. For now, I will have someone else run operations here, temporarily, until we can find a window, perhaps tomorrow, to conduct this."
Sure, in the morning, perhaps.
Possibly.
Or what passes for morning if we're going to be staying up very late.
Uh,
We kind of like half jokes.
how's Lucina looking after the fight? She took a lot of hits for other people.
Yeah, but she was also healed a little after the fight. So she has a few scratches on her, a few bumps, but it's looking otherwise fine, though you can see that she is sweating heavily and looks a little... her lips are like dry, and her breathing is a little more ragged and haggard, just from the heat.
Mm-hmm.
Can I try something?
Hmm.
No, it's it's typically magical damage, but like I think it's kind of used to like the tattoo managing her body heat. Could I like try to take all like the what's left, like the heat of her body, and just kind of take like damage for it?
What do you mean?
Just sort of like oh no, that's probably too difficult. Never mind. That's a little. Moonstrike is for magical damage anyway.
Well, you guys go back to the furnace, and in a little bit of a hurry. Lucina, at least, unless anyone has other reasons to stick around, Lucina will head immediately towards the exit.
I'm sprinting out.
I'll just cast Prestidigitation to make everyone less sort of like sticky and unpleasant.
Oh, actually, on the
You clean
that
up my
reminds
snail
me.
trail.
on our way past where the fight occurred, Myzel will kind of point at any remaining gore on the ground where the guy was split in two, and say, "Luna, can you clean that up so it doesn't alarm the workers?"
Always cleaning up messes. Yeah.
How much
she
blood
will.
did the vampire even have in him?
Good bit.
Oh, okay.
I sent a message to Myzel. Did you ask her to do it because she's a woman? That's not very nice.
I don't
I
have a
can't-
spell, and I couldn't remember who else does.
I couldn't hear that, can I?
No, that was a
No.
message in the head.
Mm.
Can
Can I
8
make an
days after
insight check
International
based off
Women's Day.
vibes?
I'll wait to have something for you. Anyway, continue.
I'm not sure if I like where that's leading.
Lilia is getting it in her DMs.
Oh, you're not the victim of this one.
Oh yeah. Okay, we all leave. I clean everything up.
Yes.
I clean everyone up.
Okay, yeah.
I realize now I wasted a spell slot with these slugma. I thought these tunnels would go way deeper, but it is what it is. Decisions are made.
You can. We're about to probably take a quick rest. You could use Arcane Recovery.
Yeah. As soon as you are out, Lucina, well, all of you feel immediately refreshed, as the crisp, cold air of the city is a much needed, a much welcome reprieve from the heat of the furnace.
Should probably kind
Lucina
of.
also seems to immediately like breathe in the air and exhale sharply, like. Bless you.
Huh. As I live
And
and
it reached the
breathe.
mutant time.
I think that's the first time I've seen her take a deep breath.
I pretend to take a deep breath also.
I know you do. I do appreciate it sometimes, though.
I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable.
Is anyone gonna go mind if I lay down in that snowdrift real quick?
It's no angel.
I think I'm just gonna melt it.
Fair.
Just stick your head in the snow.
Not,
Just hisses on
quite.
impact.
not rest yet. For now, we must discuss the plans that you acquired from the furnace.
Oh, yeah, we could go back to our house. I could get us all 4 to 5 liters of water.
I must go to Priest Gundir first.
Where is what?
Priest Gundir? That girl?
Oh, priest. Okay.
It was
That lady?
no. That
Oh,
was
that-
Sister Catherine,
Oh,
Mm.
yeah.
and Lucina just calls her Catherine, not Priest Gundir.
Because it's her sister, so she doesn't have to call her that.
No, they're not actual sisters.
Oh, okay, okay. Once you're done, you can come see us at our house. It's in the middle of a street.
I mean, she was there.
night.
I know where your residence is.
Sleep.
Our house in the middle of a street.
But I will be there soon. You can go and begin recuperating if you wish.
Is the kid doing alright?
She
The
probably
report-
hasn't had
Hmm?
to check on him because he's been with Sister Catherine.
Yes, but I have checked in with Catherine. She says he is doing well and has slept soundly.
Do you have any ways to communicate magically with others?
No.
Do you mind if I give you something that allows us to communicate with you?
That would be efficient.
I hold out my left hand. Who's got it?
Maybe me? Let me check my pockets.
I think it's Luna because I think it's in between Luna's boobs right now. I think actually legitimately it's been there.
I do remember you saying something like that. Maybe that's it.
I think it's because you're talking some wild-ish.
You were talking some mad shit.
Yeah, you're saying some. What was it? I don't remember.
No, it's because I made the eye swirl and appear in the middle of the ring, and you didn't like that.
Oh,
You put it in between
right.
your boobs.
You were making the ring creepy.
Yeah.
Here, you're making it weird, so Luna put it between her boobs. Like, all right, time out.
I can sense it in between your breasticles.
Oh my god, do not.
Lilia physically recoils. I think
Luna
that's the
kind of
worst thing you've ever said.
Every
No.
day is a new opportunity.
Don't have to race to the bottom, though.
I pout.
Lucina kind of turns towards Lilith, no emotion on her face. We have laws against sexual harassment if you would like to press charges.
It's fine. I think he's. I'll talk to you later about it. It does pull the thing out from her boobs.
He's in his rebellious teenage years.
It's warm to the touch. And I just tell her, you can't really talk to me through it unless I talk to you first. But if you want, we can check in every hour or just when something happens. I don't know really how you prefer these things to go, but it is a link once established.
Are you capable of ensuring you contact me every hour on the dot?
I'm pretty good with time. I won't miss it.
You really won't.
I really won't.
What time is it right now?
Right now, it is exactly
3 p.m.
4. Nope, it is 4 p.m. and 20 minutes.
Blaze it.
Seconds.
17, 18, 19,
It's always so
20.
fun watching that.
21,
That is correct.
22.
Very well.
Wait. Oh, wait. Can you do that too?
Not to the second.
Do you count the minutes in your head? Or are you...
I am
Huh?
generally aware of it.
That's...
Well, that's
Regardless,
convenient.
I will keep this trinket then.
All right, every hour I'll contact you.
Yes.
Don't get spooked if I talk to you through it. Well, I don't think you would, but it
I
looks a
won't.
little off sometimes, I guess.
I will go contact Priest Gundyr and tell him to come here to resolve the situation. I will meet you shortly.
Is he the other one that we would need to remove the enchantment from?
Sorry, what?
Priest Gundyr, is he the other one that we need to remove the enchantment
He-
from? The
He was at the Grayskull meeting.
oh, okay. I thought that was the head of the church of or the temple of Hestia.
No, that's Father Julius.
Oh, right. Okay.
Priest Gundyr is a priest of Thor.
Do they
Oh,
have
right. Okay, he was the
brothers
one
too?
wearing the Thor hammer.
Yes, he was wearing Thor's hammer.
Are there
Senor
brothers
Julius.
too?
Who are brothers?
Are there brothers too? Because there's sisters, fathers.
Oh my god.
It's just church talk.
I'm just curious.
Maybe there are brothers.
No mothers, I assume.
Motherless.
Motherless behavior.
Motherless bitches.
How do you think Aluna got this way? Motherless behavior.
I'm gonna say something, which is
Mhm.
like, it's an information that you could have acquired earlier, but it makes this joke so cruel. But Sister Catherine's mom went missing like a few years ago. So yes, no mothers.
She's
Oh,
truly
man.
motherless.
It's okay. I don't have to feel as bad. Luna's also motherless in this, so it's all.
My motherhood is.
Are you truly in a D&D party if you have like functioning parents?
No.
Yeah. Be
Anyway.
real.
Happy people don't go on adventures.
Yep. Lucina just like quickly in her usual manner just finishes the conversation with you and immediately turns back and goes in the direction she needs to go.
Do you guys think she has an off mode? Like, I kind of want to see if she like does puppy talk.
The commander?
Yeah. You know how like you'll pick up a puppy and be like, "Oh my god, it's so cute." Da, ba, da, da." You think there's anything like that?
There's no way.
Everyone loves a puppy though, or a kitten.
We presented her with a child, and she wasn't moved.
He's a teenager.
I guess not
Yeah.
everybody likes kids, I guess. Which is fair, by the way.
Oh no.
Not you, Rella. You're nice.
Oh. I was gonna say Rollo's pretty cool.
The upset face turns into a smug smile.
Ruffles her
Not the
hair.
smug smile. She's that girl from Spy X Family. I forgot her name.
Anya. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's that smug face.
Red
Oh, I
energy.
wonder if I can make her do that.
Please do. That's so good. Was it Anya, right? Anya, you said?
Yeah, Anya.
This one.
It's the Anya face.
You
It's
know
so
the
good.
one.
It's so good. Love it.
The first time she did that in the manga, I had to stop reading and laugh for 5 minutes. I could not stop laughing. It was amazing.
Dude, do you know? I did that as well, but you know what got me like doubly so?
Hmm.
Is when I was watching Furin, and then Furin did the exact same fucking face to Fern, and then I was just like, "What the fuck?" I was like, "You gotta be kidding me! It's everywhere." Alright, we head home.
All right. You guys head home, and at home you are able to turn off the heating a little bit, get some glasses of water. If you wish, there will be a nice little sofa for you all to lounge in and have a well-deserved break from a very exhausting trip to the furnace. Is there anything you guys would like to begin discussing in private before Lucina comes back? She will only take like maybe 15 to 20 minutes more than you guys to return.
Damn, is she running? How far away from the church are we?
Sorry, what?
I said, God damn, is she running? How far away from the church are we?
Well, she's not going to the church. Let me bring everyone to the
Is
map.
it?
She's not going to the church because Priest Gundir is not located at the church. Although the distance is pretty similar. She's going to the Shrine of Thor, which is around here, like near the sanatorium.
Still a ways.
Yeah,
It
it's
took
still
us
a
like
ways away.
30 minutes to go around here.
I forget where our house even is.
It's by the public library, like above.
Oh, okay.
But it's kind of like she's going that direction and then she's heading back, like almost immediately. She's not talking too much to Priest Gundir. She's pretty efficient, but well, I guess it's probably close to half an hour, etc.
I was imagining this woman sprinting through the streets. I was like, God damn, it's
Yeah, she's
really
not-
fast.
No, she's not sprinting. She's just being very objective about it. You know, like she's the kind of person who just power walks on Main.
Ugh, my ankles hurt, man.
But yeah, if you guys would like to talk about something before she gets back there, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise, she will be there soon.
I don't.
What do we think we'll see today at the graveyard?
Things.
Do you think we'll have to deal with vampires, actually?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not sure if they'll show their faces so quickly, but I hope they do.
Well, we took one of their... what do you even call that? Hostage? And we killed one of theirs in the furnace. That might be obnoxious for them, no?
It might expedite whatever they're trying to do.
That's true. If they know we're on to them, they're likely to speed up their plans.
Rana, you dealt with the heat quite well. Have you always been good in hot weather? Well, I guess you haven't had much time to experience it.
She kind of looks quizzical when you say she handled it quite well. Just like, what? I don't know. It just felt normal, I guess. I mean, I guess sometimes it's not like, you know, sometimes.
I look at. Oh, sorry. Go.
Sometimes it's like colder, but today's not that bad. Same for the hot, so.
It's nothing. It's just similar to myself. I don't know if you've noticed, I don't quite care for whatever the temperature is. I figured you might have a birthmark like mine.
I don't think I do. And then, like, turn around to try and look at, like, her back or something.
I just look at Gigi on her back and think to myself, I know it's you.
Noah, are you able to sense my mark on my body?
When I focus on it, sure.
I guess you would have sensed something then.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing off about her.
Looks like that big brain. Luna starts sort of like poking her cheeks.
What was it you said? I didn't hear.
Nothing odd except for that big brain. And then she kind of just starts poking her
Oh,
cheeks.
yeah. Yeah, the brain.
Is there something wrong, Noah?
Not at all.
See, I know you well. And I know you're lying.
I'll tell you later. I know it's hearing. It's listening, sorry, is what I meant to say. I know it's listening.
Okay. That's phrasing. Anyway. You should rest. I know the heat got to you pretty badly.
I'll just have to dry my suit, and then I'm good again.
Luna just snaps her fingers and your suit's dry.
Well, never mind, I'm ready to go.
Everyone should learn this.
Investigating the graveyard until night. We have some time to go over our findings in the furnace.
It's true. Well, if you want to look over these schematics or tinker with other things we found.
The schematics hopefully should give us an idea of what they're trying to do with all these scraps. And I guess, and they'll pull the like fairly large piece of metal that he picked up from the workshop area and set it down on the table as well. We can try to figure out how this fits into it. Hopefully taking it has delayed them some, though with all that ore, it probably wouldn't take them long to reproduce it. We really need to just slowly take back pieces of the town before they can accomplish whatever they're trying to do.
I'm trying to remember. Did we get something about them? I gotta look at my notes. No, I don't think we did. Never mind.
All right.
Do what?
Don't worry about it. I was checking on notes to see if we got like sort of information about what they were doing around town, like parts of the city. And I was just like, we don't quite have a concrete idea on that yet.
Yeah, you have some hearsay from the members of Grayskull who reported like sort of like town gossip and city rumors or weird things they have noticed around town, but nothing super concrete so far. You have only investigated the graveyard in depth.
Yeah.
And now the furnace.
You know, they're building things and that they're doing weird shit.
I could try to invisibly fly a perimeter around the town wall and see if they have any more of those funny bags.
And get sighted by one of their funny eyes.
It was only out at night.
Is it only on at night, or did you only see it?
It wasn't there when we scouted the graveyard during the day.
You were looking for the. Did we look for the invisible eye during the day?
Noah and Mizell went over the wall and it was like clearly visible at night. And he had the invisibility up the top while they were investigating the graveyard.
Yeah, I meant during the day. Was it? I don't remember. I didn't remember it being out. I don't
Luna
remember.
and Rala didn't. And Luna, Lilia, and Rala didn't go to the graveyard during the day. They went at night with Noah and Mizell.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's not out at day or night. If it's invisible, I have no idea.
Well, it also wasn't invisible during the night.
Oh, okay. It wasn't invisible. I thought
No,
you
it
saw it was
wasn't
the
invisible.
invisibility.
Yeah, it was
Gotcha.
fully visible.
It's kind of crazy.
It is kind of weird. Like, it's literally just an eye. It's not even...
It reminds me of,
eye.
like, you know, in Baldur's Gate, those eyes that would just like float around as like invincible sensors or like visible sensors,
Yeah.
because those also had true sight. Now we know where Daka stole it from.
I have never played Baldur's Gate. The fuck? I get accused of stealing things even when I'm not.
Theft.
Listen, I don't accuse him from stealing anything except stuff from Final Fantasy. That's it.
I mean,
And Monster Hunter. Don't
And
forget that.
Chainsaw Man.
and granted, it's not the most original idea in the world to have an eye observing things for you.
I know. I'm just fucking around.
It's like, what do eyes do?
Never observed anything ever.
Cool things off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we can go over what the designs that we looked over. I guess we need Rala to do that, really, because I think Rala's the only one that can read it.
Okay, do you produce the papers from the bag of holding, the pouch of holding?
Yes.
There
Yeah.
are the sort of blueprints, and then the sort of like tied together smaller sheets of paper.
Mizell will hand the blueprints off to Rala and then take a look at the smaller sheets of paper himself.
Okay. I will. Should be able to only review part of this, right? Let me configure ownership.
Yeah, you should
Okay.
be able to reveal that.
Do you have a thing in the handouts part of the journal?
Handouts.
I'm looking at journal handouts. Wow, someone's diary.
How many entries can you see?
1.
Okay, it's working as intended then. In that case, as you read that, you can read it out loud if you wish for everyone later, or you can just read by yourself, because currently in the scene, Mizell is reading it by himself. while Rala is presumably taking a look at the blueprints.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is inspiring leader only once a day, or is it every single short rest? Short or long rest?
I think it's once. I think a creature can only receive temporary hit points from it once per long rest. I think, but I'm not sure. Rala,
It's finished a short or long rest. Okay.
Yeah, Rala, you can roll an Arcana or Smith's Tools check.
I think it's the same. So
Yeah. In that case, you have advantage if you have proficiency in both.
No shot.
Are you Flash of Genius in that or not?
yeah, we're Flash of Genius thing it.
Can Myzel also give magical guidance?
You're reading your papers, fairy boy.
Yeah. He just like flaps his wings and the fairy dust goes around and she sneezes and it clears her eyes.
No, okay.
Crazy shit.
The Flash of Genius pushes it to 18.
18, yeah.
Right. You analyze these blueprints, and I will say that doing that takes a while. Myself reading the journal also takes a little bit because I put them in a single page, like as a summary, but actually it's several distinct pages that you can kind of like piece together what they are collectively saying for a period of time.
This guy's a whore!
And he just says that, like he's reading it. Myself just goes like, "What a whore!"
Literally.
I think Elena looks over her shoulder and like pulls his ears lightly. Language. Let me see. And she starts reading too.
He just hands her the first page because he's done with it.
And it's gonna take a little bit of time, as well as for Rala to look at and understand the blueprints. So I would say that nearing the end of it is when the Lady Commander would be arriving back at your place.
Can I
But Rala,
get the thing? I want to read this man whore.
I mean, everyone has access to the diary thing. I made it. I
Where is
granted the observer thing to everyone, supposedly.
Where do I find it?
Where do I find it?
Under
Under
journals.
journal,
To the right of
handouts.
items.
I don't see it.
I do not see it.
I have 0 handouts.
No handout. Handoutless
Let
behavior.
me click show players.
For real.
Show.
Oh,
Nice. Who's someone?
But if you can, someone is someone. But if you can read anything but the second, please only read the second.
I see entry number 2.
Yeah.
That's the entry number 2 as well.
Number 2 is the one that you're supposed to be getting. But continuing for Rala, you examine the blueprints, and you find they are not a finished product. They are instructions specifically for the manufacturing of pieces and for the shipment of those pieces. They do not have many schematics for how they will look like or what they will do necessarily once assembled. They only have instructions like, okay, for part number, series AS 72, you're supposed to get these kinds of metal and produce them in this specific angle with a latch like this and inscribe it like this. It's this kind of instruction. However, you are able to tell that they are mostly built for 2 purposes. One of them is as a sort of like conduit, almost like a relay. Like they're transmitting something, like it's receiving something and then pushing it somewhere else. And the second is that they are sort of like coalescing energy, like a sort of like runes that can take in and store power. Those are the two kinds of functions that you can glean from the parts that they were building there. And as for the instructions of where to chip them, you quickly find a few maps of the city and several dots over the city's walls where all of these parts had different instructions to be shipped off to. Like certain parts were going to one spot, other parts to another spot, etc. Seems to be focused on a specific spots. It's not like all over the wall, but kind of like in the way that they were shipping many parts to the same spot to then be assembled on the spot. That is what you're able to glean from the blueprints that you find at the furnace.
Okay. Do I notice any sort of like pattern? Because I know you said like it's sort of being randomly shifted or like distributed and stuff, but do I note that like, you know, oh well, serial 27B4 is, you know, that's in the northeast and the southwest, you know, anything symmetrical like that? Or
you do notice a few that often pieces with the same runes would be placed in such a symmetric way, yeah, which you would know is a common way to make them resonate better.
Gotcha. And did it appear to be like evenly distributed? Like along the walls?
They seem to be spread all over the walls in a pretty encompassing manner.
Okay.
Sort of like covering them.
A pattern, but not a pattern.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Kind of like creating a perimeter of sorts.
Suddenly, my idea to go check the walls for more bags doesn't seem so crazy.
Noah,
Yes.
you got Winran's autograph, right?
Yes, I did.
Could we compare the handwriting?
I was thinking the same thing. Good idea. To check the handwriting.
Check the handwriting with the journal.
I'll reach for the book and I'll bring it out slowly, dramatically, and I'll look at the handwriting and I'll show it over to Luna. What do you think?
What does it look like, TM?
Does it look like they were penned by the same hand?
Make an investigation check.
Oh,
We
boy.
get it. What's your thing?
I'm plus 11.
I'm just gonna help you. We're both looking at it. I'll bump it up.
Just in case it matters, I'll put a point for my eyes into it, give it a little bit of that magic, and make that a 25.
25.
25? 25 total?
Yes.
Okay. You take a look at the signature. It's a pretty flamboyant signature. Like it barely spells out his name. Like it's very stylized, like in the way that authors often get from doing their signatures over and over on book capes. And you compare it to the diary, which these pages seem very old, by the way. Now that you're reading
Mhm.
them, incredibly old. Even the ink is a little faded, and there is not too much overlap between one and the other.
Did he write a dedication before the signature that we can compare it to? I think you mentioned he did.
To my something fan,
Yeah.
my biggest fan.
My greatest fan of them all.
Yes, it was something like that. Comparing it to the dedication, it's is a little bit better because the signature is more or less a drawing. It's not the same, but there are some similarities. The way that that maybe like 3 or 4 of the letters are written, like the curvature of the L, or the placement of the I. Some people like put it right above the I. Some people put it like to the right, slightly to the left. Like they both have like slightly to the right. But it's also not the same everywhere. The G's on the letter are much more squared up, and the G in like greatest fan of the dedication is fairly round. It has like a curvaceous like, belly to it. The numbers in specific of the diary. Well, I guess there's no number in the dedication, but if there was hypothetical number, you would see that the numbers of the diary are done in a very machine-like way, even. Which is to say, inconclusive.
Can I kind of like figure out, even if they don't look like they're the same now, if it might be just these are pretty old? Does it look like the dedication just might have be an evolved script over time in the same way that like language itself changes? Where like someone's handwriting might change over the course of 500 years?
The decimal whimsy.
It's certainly like there is no way for you to know that for sure. Like there is no check to be made here. Just so I'm just gonna say that is a possibility. Like there is something that happens in the world. Like people's handwriting certainly change over time.
His handwriting could have changed if this is indeed his, but looking at it right now, I don't think these are the same person.
You hard to tell if it is. That's worth a shot.
I'm gonna then pull Luna aside a little bit. So about that thing I said I was gonna tell you. It's nothing really, I don't think. But there's something about Gigi that has me really curious.
Yes. I figured you'd get curious about that.
Not that there's anything wrong with it, probably, but the fact is, I can't tell what Gigi is. And usually I'm pretty good at seeing these things, and even more so with these new eyes. So it's a little weird, I guess. A little off-putting.
That's understandable. Gigi, honestly, to myself, is a bit of an unknown. I'm not exactly sure what Gigi is. Or
Told me a
how.
little bit about their story. And she said Gigi was her hideout, or a hideout, and then became her hammer. And I tried looking at it with these eyes, and it doesn't seem to be necessarily a non-living substance. And it doesn't really seem to be a creature either. I don't know if I'm maybe just looking at the wrong thing.
I think you are.
And I tried sending a message into the hammer. You know, one of those magical ones.
Mhm.
There was no response.
Well, not that I particularly like you studying so closely to one of our party members, but you have to start thinking how much of it might be Gigi and how much of it might be Rala.
What do you mean?
Well, between the two, is she the special one or is Gigi the special one? Or are they
I don't-
both special with each other? I can't tell, but
I think it's that. And it's honestly not that I want to discredit her skills and abilities in any way. She's very young and able to do all of this with us. Some might call her some sort of prodigy. But even so, I'm curious, you know?
I can understand. Just try not to be too intrusive. Yes? Coming.
Did anybody order delivery?
Dominoes. And I'm gonna open the door.
Domino's a la casa. Nice.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Lady Kina.
Oh, you're not the delivery.
We didn't order delivering, I was joking.
Oh,
Have you already discussed your findings?
Yes, Rala dear. I'll let Rala describe what she found.
Okay, so all of these are okay.
So we'll
So
tell you sometimes.
that one, it goes up, and then she's just like pantomiming like all these, like bigs, and just her arms are just flailing about as she's describing things. And these go up on the wall, and I don't know how it does what it does, but it I don't know. So they talk to each other, and it brings stuff in. Whoever did this, they need to learn how to do this better.
Uh,
Or maybe something's missing. But they bring stuff in. And I mean, we kind of saw back at the furnace that stuff was getting diverted. So I don't know if that's where it's going.
can any of us make an Arcana check about this?
Hmm?
Can any of us make an Arcana check based off what she's told us? What they might be trying to do?
Well, I mean, Rala has acquired the information that she has out of the runes and all. What you could make deductions based on that.
They're taking in energy, and it's going somewhere. I don't know where. But it's going somewhere.
Taking in energy and going somewhere.
Is that why it seems like the furnace's output was a bit low?
Yeah, probably.
All right, let me try something then. Luna will sit on a chair and sort of place her palms like on her tattoo again. I'll try to. I'll use. I'll use the thing. I'll use the flow of life. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I'll try to see how the flow of aether is changing in this place. I know I checked it when I first came here, but I feel like now maybe it's changed a little bit more drastically since then. So I
Okay.
guess the furnace, I'll try to focus on that and see like where that energy's heading towards, whether it's north, south, east, west.
Right. You open yourself to sensing the flow of the light stream around the land, and in the furnace's direction you can sense like a lot of activity in general. Seems to be very concentrated there and then spreading out towards like the city, somewhat evenly, although it is a little more directed towards the north.
But towards the anything distinctive, like distinctive buildings it might be heading towards, or just sort of generally throughout the city?
It's generally like this upper side of town here.
Okay. Her eyes will sort of flicker closed as they're glowing, bright, sort of silvery white, and she'll blink a few times. The energy seems to be spread out through the city, but more so on the northern side. The entire northern half, from the library to the Temple of Hestia. Commercial district, really.
That is the more affluent part of town.
But was the furnace designed to favor that side of town? Or was it designed to go evenly and has been
It is
repurposed?
not designed to favor that part of the city, but it does function. It is possible to install further fittings in your home for more heating and pay a higher fee to the city council to heat your house up more. So it is not surprising that the furnace is directing more energy to the people that are paying more to them.
It's not
So, then that
necessarily.
itself is not terribly unusual. It's possible whatever they're building is not active yet and they're planning to pull energy then.
Well,
Maybe the furnace is. Go ahead.
given that the schematics are for creating parts to be assembled at the site, I assume the parts have not all been assembled in place yet. Whatever contraption this is not active.
That bag I found was probably one such set of parts. I could scout the wall and check for any more of those bags at the locations on the map.
That
Should
seems
we?
wasteful. We already have the locations of them. It is a simple matter to apprehend them.
Should we save that matter for tomorrow? Or can you get people to get on top of it today? We're already short-handed as it is.
I cannot count on the city guard for it.
It's true enough.
What about some others from the council?
It's not
What do you mean?
combat-oriented.
Yes, they are politicians, representatives of certain circles of society. Not combat ready or not very well fit to climb a wall.
Though the idea is quite amusing.
Regardless, we still have other things to discuss. Is that all about the blueprints?
Wrapped up in the blueprints was this diary entry.
Hmm.
Seems to that we're dealing with another one of Grimvar's subjects who's been turned into a vampire. Indicates at the very least they're quite powerful. Seems they've been shedding disguises and going through. Also has connections to the Muspel Garden and has had many affairs over the years.
Kind of like pauses for a second. Like, is that last part relevant?
We're dealing with a nasty boy.
Oh no, not the nasty boy.
Not the nasty boy.
It seems that Grimvar created a lot of vampires, and these ones are their organization has a name, the Crimson Corps.
Corpse.
Yes,
It
did.
is.
I see.
Ring a bell to anyone?
It is
I'm a foreigner, don't look here.
It is a documented historical group. Well, not only them, but it is known that Grimvar had several people who did their bidding. Holder the Calamity, the Beast of Grey Valley, the Winter Knight, the Crimson Corpse were some of them as well. And the King of Greathelm was also one of them. Not of the Crimson Corpse, but just an ally of the Great Worm. However, it was believed that all of them had been dealt with by now, except for one of them.
Well, much like cockroaches, they're all crawling about. Selena was one such. Rena.
Indeed. This other vampire you dealt with seems to have been another one that had gone unnoticed. There were rumors of this Crimson Corpse, but nobody ever found out their exact numbers.
Well, this is confirmation of their existence and likely indication that they're still active hundreds of years later. It's been hundreds, right? Or
It has been hundreds, yes.
okay. I just forgot for a moment.
I think at the very least we can take solace in the fact that we're shutting down the furnace and whatever they're trying to do there. If they don't have the parts, they might have to go ahead and perform their plan. If they do, have everything they need, perhaps it means we should strike a bit harder at places we're suspicious of.
Well, that's assuming they didn't have all the parts they needed already. We don't know how far along in the plan they are.
They did say that the emergency was today. We'll need to get information from the workers to see how long they've been working on things, or if they remember if they've done all the work that they were supposed to do.
It's possible the guard that we ousted from the front entrance informed the furnace chief, and that's why he had everyone lock themselves away. He might have been able to disguise himself as a normal human so they didn't suspect anything.
Their recency of work makes me think that they should still be working on whatever they're doing, but That's being a bit optimistic.
It's a hope, not a guarantee.
Over your investigations, have you arrived at any other suspects?
You don't happen to recognize this handwriting, do you? I know it's quite old, so it's a slim chance, but there is a chance.
She takes a look at the papers and reads it herself, sort of like, rather than getting secondhand accounts. I do not recognize it, no.
Any individuals of note you're aware of that seem to have this sort of, how to say, loose personality? Any nobles or sluts? I said it nicer, but
He's rolling for how
You-
many of them are sluts.
You notice, you catch a very distinctive grimace on her face when you ask that.
pretty strong reaction.
Certain people of the city have
Promiscuous lifestyles.
yes.
So a common thing then.
Not necessarily as such. One who would be of note would be Deimos Maximoff.
Who's this?
Can you spell
You-
that?
Out
Do
of
you recognize
character.
that name?
Deimos. No,
Fuck. I was so close. Come on.
close, but not quite.
Yep,
The
spell
only
it
other,
wrong.
the only other time, no, I spelled it very right. The only other time you've heard that name was from Marco, actually. He said he was some rich hair kid, not kid, but a rich hair, known for debauchery in the after hours. But
Yeah.
he's also been a little conspicuously absent of the nightlife lately.
True.
Which
Do I
kind of like,
know? Sorry, continue.
which kind of like raised his attention.
Do I know
What?
about the Maximoff family at all?
You can roll a history check.
They're all sluts.
Ooh.
Okay.
How many of them have I banged? I'm kidding.
have what?
No, never mind. Scratch that.
Jesus
That's-
Christ.
They
That is
they
not a-
gossip in the library.
Yeah,
Did
that
you
is.
hear?
That's why some of the books are sticky.
Ugh.
I'm kidding. No, I wouldn't do that. Moving on.
They are very skilled traders. Like they
With a
they
D.
made traders, yes,
Okay,
traders. They've made some good fortune, like in various different areas of commerce at this point. They kind of like catch a trend, like unlike, for example, the Winterland family, like Vanessa Winterland, who her family has had that like fur shop for generations. It wasn't always like super successful, but they kept at it until it was. The Maximoff family is not like that. They just sort of detect something that might be in growing demand and immediately just hop onto that and try to make the most out of it. And when it begins to die down, they kind of sell the business to someone else and go develop something else. That's kind of like their modus operandi.
Kind of like Apple.
I don't know enough about Apple to ascertain for sure, but yeah, I will trust that it is.
I was just shitting on Apple. I don't have a.
But nowadays, they have kind of amassed the kind of fortune where they don't necessarily need to start new businesses anymore. They can just live off what they've already made. Especially ties to like banks and stuff like that, and people owing them. They have like a big estate uptown. They don't necessarily need to trade anymore, but they still dabble just because it's fun.
Because it's fun.
Yeah,
Or they're bored.
exactly.
I
Yeah.
see.
The fact that they are bored of their money is also a factor in why their their hair just likes to play Dorian Gray all over the place. Well, with that little interjection on Deimos Maximoff, though, that was not the entirety of Lucina's sentence.
Oh, okay.
She says, Deimos Maximoff is known for having a, as you described, promiscuous lifestyle. And my father.
Oh, and what about her father?
Is known to have a promiscuous lifestyle.
Oh, her father too. Okay. Your father did mention that Deimos has been notably absent from the nightlife of the city recently. So that's lends itself to possibly being him. And we did think of your father and tried to see if the handwriting on this note matched his, and as far as we were able to tell, it does not.
He is. Forgive my saying so. Shockingly in good form for his age.
That is indeed shocking given the amount of drink.
Which doesn't really seem to do anything for him, if I'm being quite honest.
When I took a closer look at him, he was completely sober. I don't know if that's something surprising to you.
I don't know. I have
We
not
witnessed him
interacted with
drinking
in years.
in that.
Uh,
We did witness him drinking in that tavern, so the fact that he would be completely sober afterward is suspicious. I would not discount the possibility that he's a vampire, though we lack any proper evidence to prove it at this time.
well,
And he's hardly likely to be the only one.
just a question. Vampires, like, can they have kids? Is Lucina blood related to him, or is I know blood history was like bastard child, but like I don't know what that means.
It is a very well-known fact in the city that Lucina is not related by blood to him.
Not related by blood. Okay.
No, she came.
Ugh, that's such an annoying fact to be well known.
For her, it has been very inconvenient for most of her life. Yes, but this is city gossip that Mizell has already uncovered, and even though it would probably have heard, but Vanessa and Marco Winterland have been married for a while, and then Vanessa had a child who is half Lagoose, and Marco is very distinctively not. He doesn't have any feline traits, so people put two and two together. Although officially she is his daughter, like legally.
Imagine Lilia is her sister.
They've never really
Cat features.
admitted it publicly. But
Well, yeah, but it's kind of like
and
the black kid coming out, and everyone goes, "Well,
Yeah, and people remember that like dangerously close to 9 months before Lucina was born, there was like a Lugus musician in town. He usually played like for the rich people. He kind of like stopped by the city for like a couple of weeks and then went away. But again, people put two and two together.
I think sometimes Luna's just like, you know what? Maybe it was better that I was an orphan.
Yeah, parents suck.
Yeah, this is too much.
But
complicated.
regarding your question, which I believe was that if vampires could procreate like sexually, they can. If two vampires have a child, the child is a vampire. If a vampire has a child with someone who is not a vampire, the child has vampiric traits. They may take more strongly after one parent or the other, just like any like half-breed sort of, but they can. But the child
Being a
will have like
vampire
vampiric.
affects your DNA.
What? Say what?
Being a vampire affects your DNA.
Yeah, essentially like a vampire. Someone who is a child of a vampire would have some vampiric traits. It's impossible for them to just be a normal person. But if that, even with that being the case, as I have previously asserted, Lucina is famously not related by blood to him.
It would be really funny though if they were all sterile, because then he could fuck around as much as he wanted and never have
never
to worry
find
about
out.
kids. Exactly.
I mean, you can still do that.
I mean, in game terms, like in word terms, I have always been of the opinion that if magic is real, people would make a contraceptive cantrip real fast. Like,
It'd be like the
Really?
first thing.
yeah, wouldn't really be a problem. Like, people would find ways to not get pregnant. Like, it would be highest priority.
Yeah.
Cantrip, abortion.
No,
The
you missed
opposite
the
of power
easiest
would
joke.
procreate.
You guys are missing the easiest joke. Harry Potter, fetus deletus.
Oh my god.
Fetus true.
It's like power word kill, but for babies. It's only level 3 because it's a baby.
The idea of power word kill is like so much more graphic. It feels like
Yeah, that's oof.
You
it feels so much heavier when you say it that way.
You can protect yourself from power word kill by getting pregnant before, because if someone casts it on you, the baby dies and not you.
Can we call it like
Just
power?
cast shield like on your uterus.
Power word oopsie.
Okay, but that only gives a +5 to the AC. Like what?
Okay, what about an Odalux
We're
resilience spear?
we're getting dangerously close to that girl's breeding rules, guys. We're getting dangerously close.
Anyway, continue the
Reverse,
conversation.
reverse.
Back to the conversation.
Well, we'll find some time to question him another.
But it does sound like we could do with tracking down where Deimos is.
It's strange that he's been absent.
Is there any chance that we know of where something he's written might be that we could compare to this?
I would not know in particular, but presumably in the Maxim of Estate there should be documents or journals or things like that signed by him. I will say, for the purpose of the conversation, Lucina seems much more at ease that the conversation has drifted away from her quote-unquote progenitor.
Mm-hmm. Well, her father, but not progenitor. Oh.
She's,
As far as we know.
you would have detected, like, you're pretty insightful, that even when she says, like, my father, there's, like, this grating sound to it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's why
Father,
Mizell
derogatory.
specifically. That's why Mizell specifically referred to him as Marco and not.
Yeah,
her
exactly.
father.
It's like she was doing it out of respect, but she wouldn't really call him father. Otherwise.
Yeah.
God, why do kids have to be so polite about shit like
So that's another lead to follow, to look into if we can somehow track down where he is. We need to look at those parties when we have a moment. There's still a matter of some strangeness in the Hearthflame Asylum. And we're in the middle of investigating the graveyard. But while it's still daylight out, we might be able to get away with taking a look at the walls and
Well, it's
looking
like
for any of
dusk
these
now.
strange contraptions. Is it? Okay.
You get it. It was like 4 something when you left the furnace. You guys took the equivalent of a short rest at the house, and you have been discussing
Actually-
and recuperating for a while. So it's probably like 6 now, and
That reminds
we're
me, I want to roll
we're
a
in
hit die.
and we're in like a cold, a cold weather
Mhm.
region. So night falls quickly.
How do I roll a hit die on here?
Oh, yeah, I need to also roll one.
I
Well,
don't
now,
need to.
now that
roll.
we've cleared other matters out, I had to report on past events. I got Priest Beowulf Gunder to go to the furnace since he has knowledge of mechanical affairs. He has attended to the furnace chief's corpses and will be directing operations at the furnace until we can successfully appoint a new furnace chief that is not under the spell of whatever has befallen the city. Additionally, I still need to pay a visit to the speaker's house in order to acquire the key to the mausoleum that is with the mayor. You may or may not accompany me to do that if you wish.
If we meet resistance, do you think it would be helpful for us to be there?
I am unsure.
Is the mirror underneath the spell?
Yes.
And I think it prudent that we all, or at least us with better eyes, go.
There are 2
It's
more
also-
things.
Go ahead.
The first is that you are yet to decide if you will have Catherine or I accompany you to the graveyard. Do you still not have a decision?
I think we can decide now, maybe.
I
And I'll turn to the others. She's really strong, obviously. But it might be good to have some religious folk with us for vampiric deals. I've read in books that sometimes if they simply show their religious symbol to them, they cower in fear before the light.
yes. It would be nice to have someone of the cloth to deal with such things.
If things really go south, that might be, no offense, a little bit more helpful than an additional hand that punches really hard.
And covers for your ass.
Yep. That she did.
Acknowledged. I will contact Catherine and have her take my place with you while I care for the Lagoose child then. However, she looks at all of you very seriously. Catherine is not a trained combatant. Be wary that you do not strain her too much.
Things
That
look bad.
was
will be
my
sure.
worry, but we'll protect her.
Very well.
And Luna's a pretty good teacher. So she'll pick it up quickly.
I'd rather not. I don't like teaching people how to fight.
Well, if it's necessary, Might not be bad, right?
Let's hope it's not necessary.
Regardless, I do not think she would be capable of learning to be a warrior in one day.
Yes, I'd only have a few hours. I'm not that good of a teacher.
But you can rely on her capacities for divine feats.
Of course. Does it look like Lucina's rested?
You can tell, like she's not like standing. She sat down after she got here. You can tell that over the course of this conversation, she's been like very attentive, but she's also been resting. Like she's efficiently kind of taking the opportunity of the conversation to have like a short rest herself, sort of.
Speaking of short rest, how did you figure out how to roll that hit die?
If you go, I had to go into the cogs on the top, or to like the
You
play, and then if you go into hit die on the right, the cogs, I can do it from there. Because I have 2 types of hit die. I don't know if it's the same for people who don't have 2 separate types of hit die.
I have 3.
If you go into
Try hard.
short rest button,
Oh, right. I forgot the short rest button exists.
Where's the short rest button?
Next to the long
long
rest
rest
button.
looks
I
like a knife and
fucking
fork.
like
Who do I get to hit first?
yeah. I really was like I could say this, but I'm not going to because someone is.
I see. I see.
I like that it wasn't just one. It was a combined effort right there. Love it.
2 people said it and 3 people thought it.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, I think Illuno put some tea on. Well, we have a few hours. You should rest here while you have the chance. Proper.
Yes, I am recovering my energy already. Also, after you shared your new findings with me yesterday, I went to look into the database that I had compiled over the past weeks. Disappearances and other cases. I found one person that could be a match for the one who has been described by the Lagoose boy. I thought it better to share this with you after we were done at the furnace so you would not be distracted.
Who would that be?
About 9 years ago, one person who disappeared from the city's records was a woman of Fire Deva descent. She was known to... She was a musician, and one of her more distinctive traits among casual acquaintances that I investigated was that she was into a kind of music that people don't often play or take an interest in here, and that use instruments that apparently are not very easy to get a hold of in Great Helm.
Huh.
Given what you have shared with me about the music and the red hair that was described, I believe that could be her.
Seems quite likely. So the person who's been bullying this kid and his friends was in the mausoleum last night. Or likely was.
Yes, and as I said, she disappeared about 9 years ago. That was not when the disappearance incident started.
This has been going on a while then, if that's true. But the kid didn't tell us where he met her. But it sounded like he met her in town somewhere. I wonder if she's been using some kind of disguise to come and go.
Probably. she would stand out too much if she was not from here. Somebody might have noticed.
Red hair is particularly hard to hide.
Not hide, but people. She was not particularly affluent, or well off, or well liked. She was not someone people would mind being gone too much. The same applies to many of the victims.
Perhaps this is just the pessimist in me, but it wouldn't surprise me that if the affluent were in on whatever's going on, somehow they always find their hands in the deals and abetting and aiding evil if it serves them in some way.
I think more concerning is if there's something like Serena is, being able to use their blood that way.
I think that might not necessarily just be Serena's thing, but there's different tiers to vampires. The one we fought earlier is likely just not even a foot soldier, really. A brainless war machine of sorts. Then there's, of course, the older ones, and then there's the really, really powerful ancient ones. They might all just be able to manipulate their blood in that way.
Do we remember if that was like specifically a Serena thing or?
It was specifically a Selena thing.
Mm.
Not that it couldn't be an ability manifested in other vampires of higher stature, but in her case, it was very much something she developed by herself for herself over years. Like, it wasn't an innate ability. It was partially achieved by mixing her alchemical knowledge with her vampire powers as well.
I wonder if business in the Wolfwood made them start acting more aggressively.
If the vampire groups are associated, that would make sense.
Do you think it's a little bit of a... How do I put it? Like, now that Selena is dead, there's a vacancy in their ranks?
Depending on the kind of organization they have, it's possible. But it is soon to make an assumption.
It kind of feels like they're trying to have a new Supreme rise, if that makes sense.
This would certainly be a pelt on their wall if that was the case. And then Luna puts down a plate of, I think it's mostly breakfast foods because that's what we got from the market when we went.
Yeah.
Even though it's lunch, crepes, orange slice, just eggs.
And to complete the report, the name of this woman that I have been talking about that disappeared was Priscilla.
Priscilla.
Why does that name sound so familiar?
No,
I'm just
Priscilla?
thinking of the musical when I hear Priscilla, so that's my thing.
And
Do I know anyone named Priscilla?
we roll for Priscilla history, but we're gonna call it for here tonight because it's quite late for you guys.
I didn't know I could even. I mean, sure.
Priscilla, check.
I'm a foreigner. I don't know anyone here.
You know, like 6 Priscillas, like, just over your life.
What's it called? Oh, yes, that's Priscilla.
It's not a very common name, huh?
Oh, I know 3 Priscillas.
Yeah, it's like, it's not rare, but it's not common either. It's just one of those names, you know.
There was poor Priscilla, there's rich Priscilla, and then there was.
But hey, if you want an opinion on the name, you could always find Marco at a bar and ask him.
That's true.
Yo, what's the hot goss on a lady named Priscilla? You know. all
And
the women in
ironically, he
town.
would probably have some.
He might
I mean,
actually know.
He knows every single woman in town. That is canon now. I refuse to believe otherwise.
I know every woman.
I know every woman. It's
But yeah,
Yeah.
you make a
But that
meal
is-
for Sakina after a report, and then we figure out what we're gonna fucking do.
So for now, that's it, folks. It has been decided that Sister Catherine is the one who's going to accompany you to the graveyard, which is great news to me because then I can actually have a sheet ready.
Yeah.
This guy's a whore.
It was so good, like in real time, like me being like, okay, so for this our contract, this guy's a whore.
The fucking
Myself just looking scandalized as he reads through this.
Oh my god, he's sleeping with multiple people at the same time?
What a harlot.
Oh, for hundreds of years?
Do they know?
I just liked the phrasing of just like they're wondering when I'm gonna settle down. It's like someone like, and I do not like anyone. Like in parentheses, like I don't like anyone. Like what a phrase to use.
Had to make sure the people knew.
Yeah, I need everyone to understand that I don't like people.
Yeah, I mean, like I put like in the start of the thing, like this is a sort of like a collection of several pages. Like it's info you would have like summarized in your head after reading several entries. So it would kind of be like, oh, day X of month Y, something something something, and then I slapped at like person's name's place, but I don't feel anything for her. And then like 2 days later, slapped at someone else's house and also doesn't feel anything for her. And then in some other entry, like describes like the day starting with them at another like woman's house as if it was like just an afterthought, and there's no like particular reference to her in particular. Like it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's a person.
Hey guys, putting on the empathy cap. Maybe this is like a cry for help. Bro's really just he's just searching, but he can't find anyone he cares about. Hurting. Or maybe he's just a womanizer.
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 I gotta listen to Gaga's new stuff, by the way.
It's so fucking good, bitch.
People say it's great. I read
the
like
fucking year, motherfucker.
I read like, oh, it's like a return to some of her earliest son. I'm like, bitch,
It is
on
so good.
God.
Don't quite expect that, but it's so fucking good.
Yeah, I will give it a.
You must
listen
message
later.
me what you think.
I shall.
Fucking fantastic.
Here's a few more of your child.
More children.
I love her.
Ugh.
Sing more styles now. I found the way.
Yeah.
Found
Do
the
you
way.
know
Found
the
the
way?
way.
Do you know the way? When I snap my fingers, you will forget that you were ever gay.
I love that video. It's so good.
But I
What
was
do you
not
mean? I'm
gay.
not gay.
You
Exactly.
exactly. You've already forgotten you were gay.
No, you can't do that, bro. No.
No. Why did you forget you were gay?
It's so good, bro. Love it. Watched it on repeat for a good while. Fucking fantastic shit.
I just love that that's not his real voice. It was just
Fellas,
cosplaying.
I'm gonna get the stuff ready to sleep, and then it's off to Dream World I go.
Bye.
Word.
It's a nice session today. We'll see each other next week.
We'll be in a graveyard next week.
The Graveyard Shuffle, this time for real.
The graveyard.
Unless
Yeah.
you guys spend like 3 hours at the mayor's place, which, not impossible, but still.
Oh, it will be. What's it called? Kevin's gonna be
yeah,
like,
it's-
insight check. Insight check. What do you
I'm
say?
gonna take a shot
Insight
for
check.
every time that someone says.
I
insight
only
check.
made one this session.
And that's a
Yes.
new one for you.
How many
I'm so
people did
proud.
we talk to?
10?
No.
No, that was
No,
all
we
one
talked to
person.
All 10 of the guys in the
They
room.
were all one person. Shut up. Okay.
It was
besides
two
them.
guards. 2 guards and then leukemia. That's it.
Stop
What
calling
two
her
guards?
leukemia.
Don't call her that.
Stop calling her leukemia.
What guards did we talk to?
The 2
We
in
talked to
the.
We talked to the
It's-
workers.
Well, I'm calling them guards, but yeah. The 2 in the
There were
oven.
10 of them, not 2. And they were not guards. They were like engineers and shit.
Workers. They're engineers, and you only talked to like 2 of them. So you talked to 2 people, if that, because you didn't really talk to one of them.
Yeah, what about.
Please respond.
It was a more investigation and lore centered session.
It was. We got to see the furnace. That was cool. I kind of wanted to jump in the furnace, see what happened.
I mean, if you're not immune to fire, you're probably just gonna burn the fuck up.
I wanted to see how, like, you know, like when, like, you know how like Red could just take the max fall damage and be like, "Ow."
Yeah.
I kind of just want to see like, oh, how much damage is Tucker gonna do? If I
A lot.
decide to have this irrational thought right now.
Well, but that is something for the future.
Jumping
Good night,
into, I'm not doing it.
You should.
Bye bye.
Farewell.
Bye.